Let's continue with our next presentation. And welcome to the stage, Ms. Larissa Tatiana Rico Buitrago, professor at the University del Quindío, Colombia. Can you please share your screen now?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, Professor Jennifer Agudelo is going to do it because she's also presenting with me.
That's fine. Remember that you have 20 minutes and then at the end, we are going to have questions. Right? Okay, there you are. The floor is yours. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure for us to be with you today. Can you please confirm if you are checking my screen? Right.
Yes, thank Jennifer.
You. All right. So before we begin with our presentation with our workshop, which is rather the concept that we would like to call this today, we would like to know why you chose this section with us. So in case somebody would like to participate, we'll be paying attention to the chat box so you can write down your thoughts on the question, why you chose this section with us today. Okay, here we have some people participating already. Thank you so much. Because metacognition is key for language learning. That's right. Excellent. New perspectives on writing skills are always welcome. Great. That's a very nice position of yours and the willingness you have for our workshop today. So let us begin with this set of questions. We have called this section Food for Thought. So right here, we are sharing a link that is going to lead you to a Padlet. I don't know if you are familiar with Padlet. Padlet is basically a space that we have provided for you to write down the opinions or the answers you have towards those questions that we have proposed there. So basically, the idea is that you read the 4 questions that we have there and you choose one that you consider will be nice for us to share, or the ones that you consider will be more related to your context. All right. So we have first question says, what do you expect from your students in writing? Second one is, which types of strategies do you implement to make students be aware of their writing challenges? The third one is, how useful is technology in your English classes? And fourth, do you use any type of tool to make students aware of their difficulties when writing? So my colleague has just shared a link to Padlet. Meanwhile, I'm reading the interesting comments you are providing here. Very nice. So we're going to have about 1 minute to go to Padlet and reply to one of these questions. Remember, it's only one of these 4 questions that we have proposed here. Very importantly is that when we are on Padlet, this amazing tool gives us the chance to read other comments and provide a like. Just as if you were on Facebook or Instagram, you can go over the comments and you can provide a click on the heart button, just if you agree with the comments or you like the comment. I'm checking here very nice comments. Actually, most of them are related to the first question, what do you expect from your students in writing? Which is pretty nice. Excellent.
Jennifer, I think that you can summarize some of them and continue with the following activity.
Okay. Yep. So the first question that said, what do you expect from your students in writing? A lot of you, well, of course, teachers, English teachers, you expect from them to be able to produce text. Yep. That allowed us as teachers to evidence somehow their communicative skills. Yes. So they can comply with the communicative purposes. At the same time, how useful is technology in your English classes? Some comments saying, of course, is very important, it's essential. Yes. And there is one comment here saying, I use Padlet. Excellent, teacher. I don't know if you are a teacher. I guess so. So as we can see, we have also people who use Padlet and who consider technology as a very important part in teaching. And we also have some types of strategies like checklists, rubrics, peer feedback. Okay, excellent. So thank you so much for your very interesting and adequate answers provided here. We're going to continue with the next part.
So welcome to our session. Our session is called Metacognition Tools to Improve Writing. As some of you wrote, metacognition is a key in the learning process. So we are Jennifer Agudelo. I don't know if she could join the session again. And who's talking? My name is Larisa Tatiana Rico Buitrago, and we are professors at Universidad del Quindío in Colombia, basically in the Modern Languages program. And that's why we use tools in metacognition. So let me share with you what the theoretical aspect says in terms of metacognition. Basically, what we have, I don't know if I better here.
Sorry.
Okay, Jennifer, welcome.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm going to share screen. Okay, so you simply can talk. So Jennifer, welcome again.
Sorry.
I'm here. Okay, and I told them that we were professors at the University of Quindío, so we were going to start with this. Go ahead.
Perfect time. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. My apologies. I don't know what happened, but this took me out of the meeting. So going back a little bit to what metacognition is, actually, it is like being aware of our own processes, our own knowledge, yes, and how we control that knowledge and strategies in order to comply a task, to fulfill a task. So we have these authors. The first one is Flavel. John Flavel in 1987 defined metacognition as such, and he provided two different types of metacognition. So he talked about metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive regulation. So when he referred to metacognitive knowledge, he mentioned that is related to a person's own strengths and constraints that influence cognition processes. So it's basically how aware I am of my own cognition, yes, of my own cognitive processes in order to achieve what a task demands from me. So he also talked about personal resources or personal knowledge and task requirements, which make part of this metacognitive knowledge. So personal has to do with how aware I am of myself as learner, yes, of the task, and of course the skills and the strategies I need to put into practice in order to achieve the expected goals from this task. Now, when we talk about task requirements, is everything, yes, the knowledge of how I am processing this task, yes, and how I use the information required to carry out the proper process. Now, when he talked about metacognitive regulation, comprises all the activities of planning, monitoring, and evaluating. So when we talk about planning, has to do with how I am able to identify and select the appropriate strategies to solve a task. Yes. So if I am having a wide range of strategies, how I am able to wisely choose the ones that are going to help me developing the task. Now, that is the first process, which is planning. When it comes to monitoring, then is how I am aware of the effectiveness of such strategies I chose previously. Yes, to evaluate, to monitor how effective they are, not only in terms of achieving the objectives, talking about the task, but how they are helping myself, yes, helping me or the learner to achieve the task correctly. And evaluating, which is the last stage, has to do with checking and revising my goals as a learner, yes, and how they were achieved effectively at the end of the resolution of the task. All right. So that is in terms of what John Flavel stated in 1987. When we talked also about Oxford, and Oxford in 1990 defined metacognitive strategies as essential tools for successful language learning. Yes. And she was also talking about planning, monitoring, and evaluating, but she decided to call it in different, with different terms. Yes. Which is basically centering learning or planning, arranging planning, arranging and planning learning, and evaluating learning. So the first one I provided you here with an example of one metacognitive strategy that has to do with planning or centering learning, which is the first stage. This strategy is called overviewing and linking with already known material. So this is a very important strategy that learners might use in case they are, for example, in the need of writing a paragraph or an essay. What is the first thing that they need to do? First, well, of course, they need to know the purpose of why this activity is being carried out, right? Or, of course, they also need to make a first brainstorming just to build up some vocabulary or to collect some resources they will need to use when the time of answering the task comes. And of course, they need to make associations of what they already have right now with previous knowledge and what the task is proposing them to achieve. Now, when it comes to the second part, which is monitoring, or as Oxford call it, arranging and planning learning, we can invite the students to use graphic organizers. So we have already probably before seen the effectiveness or the big help that the use of graphic organizers might provide students. For example, in the case of we demand the students or we require the students to write a comparison or contrast piece of writing, we can provide them the tool of a Venn diagram so they can organize their ideas clearly, like a brainstorming in that Venn diagram, so they can just use them later on into their paragraph composition, okay, their writing. And lastly, but not least, we have evaluating learning, which is also evaluating, and has to do with the self-evaluation I'm going to carry it out in terms of the goals that I was able to achieve while I was developing the task, the kind of effectiveness, the strategies I used allowed me to achieve, yes, if I was able to comply with the objectives and of course with the task. So in this stage, what we can provide the students is a checklist or a rubric with some prompts or points, specific points that allow the student to basically realize about what they were supposed to be developing while they were doing the task or they were carrying out the task. So this is an example of what metacognitive strategies we can use with our students when we propose the task of writing either a paragraph or a short composition or an essay. Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer. So it means that here we have some tools. Additionally, based on the approach that we have at the University of Quindío, which is integrative, socio-cognitive, and experiential, we created a tool to do it. But first, we would like you to write in the chat, and Jennifer is going to help me reading that. Could you please tell me, imagine that you receive these are examples of pieces of writing from your students. How do you deal with these? How do you provide feedback to your students? So we have here 3 examples. These are pieces of examples taken from pieces of writing of your students. What strategies do you use? We are not going to use Mentimeter because of time, so I appreciate you writing in the chat your answers. How do you deal with this? How do you provide feedback to your students? Because there are some challenges here from these examples. So how do you deal with this? Are there any comments, Jennifer?
Not yet.
Strategies, do you provide the correct version of the statement? Do you use codes, correction codes? I'm giving you some examples. What do you use?
Let's give them a couple of minutes, probably, or 1 minute.
1 minute.
Elaborate. Okay, there's the first one here. For number 2, I find that correction symbols are useful. Yes. Excellent.
Okay.
So correction symbols are, I guess, one of the most popular ways in which we correct students' writing, students' work. Let me see, we have here using writing convention symbols. Yes, I use colors. Excellent. Yeah,
very
I'm
good.
a colorful teacher too. I'll point out the issue. Hold on. Explain the language point and give an example. Excellent.
Okay.
I'll provide a comment and then give an example. As you can see, we have a lot of tools in common here.
Very good.
Showing examples. That's very important.
Okay, good. So the way we see it is different. Talking about technology, at the university, we created an app. The app is called Metacognitive Challenges, and we are going to share with you what we have done. Of course, the idea is to receive suggestions, recommendations, so we can improve the app. Basically, the way we see it is like this. We provide the students with this. Writing to a professor, hey, Paul, what's up? And we simply provide like that could be a code, but we don't provide a correct answer. And in a moment, I will share with you what we do. As you can see here in blue, this is the way we see it. Why? Because we invite students to use the app. The app was created by 3 professors of the Modern Languages program at Universidad del Quindío in Colombia, based on a research project that focused on metacognition. Based on that, so we analyzed the type of metacognitive challenges. And first we had a version, but a paper-based version. we said, well, that's not the idea. We can use technology. So we created an app. We simply need connectivity to download the app, but then students can use the app without connectivity. So as I told you, we use this. If you have some time, meanwhile, you can download the app. Only Play Store, because this has been done only for Android mobile phones. We don't have the version for iPhones. So we are really sorry. We are working on that. So the app is called Metacognitive Challenges. You can find it in Play Store. And basically what you can find, and in a moment I'm going to share with you what we can find, is this. So we have, this is the, like the explanation, the description of the metacognitive challenge. We have metacognitive challenges to correct your paragraphs and essays. So metacognition basically focuses here on monitoring and evaluating. Students develop autonomous work, autonomous learning in terms of monitoring the learning and evaluating their writing. So based on research, we divided the challenges, the metacognitive challenges, into three aspects: syntactic, pragmatic, and semantic. We had, in total, we have, for syntactic challenges, we identified in our research 52 challenges. So it means that we don't call them mistakes, we don't call them errors, but we call them challenges, okay? We have P for pragmatic, 5 challenges were identified, and for semantic, we identified 10. That was based on research, as I told you. In the syntactic field, we have everything connected to the linguistic competence in terms of morphology, the order, the use of adjectives, the use of prepositions. This is what we have. Just give me a moment and I'm going to share with you the way the presentation, the app looks like. Just give me a moment. Before we go to, just give me a second. I'm going to share with you the way we do it. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see if you are, this is the way you see it. Jennifer, I'm going to wait. Are you seeing the app? What I'm sharing?
Not yet. Remember that it has like some delay,
yes,
some seconds of delay. But so far here, I was writing the name of the application in the chat box, and I have seen here some teachers saying that they have already downloaded it. So that's
very
great.
Good.
That's
great. Jennifer, now can you see what I am sharing? The app?
Not yet.
I don't know why. Just give me a moment. I'm going to do it that again.
Oh my. I guess like when we stop sharing the screen, it takes us out of the meeting. Okay, she's back. Okay, yeah, that's great that you have downloaded it. We hope to have the Apple version later on.
Jennifer, you fortunately you have just a few minutes to finish, and I think we are not going to have time for questions. So I think Larissa is having connection problems. She's back, so I'm going to.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, just give me a second. Technology, that happens with technology. Tell me now, Jennifer. Well, in a moment.
Excellent, great.
Better.
We can
okay.
see it now. Yes.
Good. So as you can see, dear colleagues, what we have in the app, first, it promotes autonomous learning because we simply provide examples. Second, students have examples of that, and we have we have divided survey into different sessions. First, we have a compilation of the challenges for teachers, for the professors. So here we have a collection of all the challenges: syntactic, pragmatic, semantic. We have authors, 3 professors from the Modern Languages program, the programmer, a student from the systems program. We also provided examples, exercises to our students. So as you can see, we basically divide this into 3 types of challenges. So let's do one activity which is really, really short, okay? Just to share with you how the app works. So I'm going to share the screen again, the presentation, to have the activity all together. Just give me a second. Okay. So we are going to have one activity, very short. For those who have the app, you can use it, okay, in your mobile phones. For those who don't, so we are going to do it all together. But I want you to take a screenshot of these 3 statements. Okay, so we are teachers, we are professors, and we want our students to use the app. So please take a screenshot because we are moving to the app. When I think in technology, I feel so happy. What type of challenge?
Sorry, are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I'm sharing. Something
cannot
happened.
see it. Yes.
Okay, just give me a moment again. I'm trying to do it. Now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. So here we have it. So when I think in you, I feel so happy. Technology is growing. Actually, in the past, it was not that way. In academic paper, I'm gonna write about immortality. Let's focus on the first example. What type of challenge do you think we as teachers or professors can find? Syntactic, pragmatic, or semantic? What do you think? Jennifer, if you can help me.
Sure. Well, the first one, I guess it is syntactic, because it says, when I think in you, I think it's the wrong preposition there.
Okay, so and the participants, what are they saying about number 1, number 2, or number 3? Any answer from them?
Okay, we have here syntactic. Yes, that's
okay,
right.
Syntactic. Okay, good. So what can we do as professors? So we go to the app, right? If we are not familiar with that. So I say, when I think in you, I feel so happy. And I'm going to share with you again the app. I'm sorry, this is the idea I've been moving for you to know what the app is about. So just give me a second. Jennifer, let me know.
Hold on. Not yet. I guess you have to click it twice.
I guess I have to do it again. Yes, I don't know why. Okay, good. Remember the statement that we had. When I think in you, I feel happy, right? Now, Jennifer, do we have it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you said syntactic. Pay attention that here we have the examples. Be careful when using in order to plus a negation. So what do you think? Is it possible or not?
We have here in the chat some participants saying syntactic, number 1. Number 2 is semantic, and number 3 is pragmatic.
Okay, very good.
Great.
So
what we do, number 13 probably.
Okay.
Would that apply for the first one? Syntactic number 13.
Okay, syntactic number 13. This one, the use of. When something is supposed, okay, that could be, okay. Or, as you have it, look at the correct prepositions used with some verbs. Okay, so we talked about phrasal verbs. This is what we have. So we as professors, what we provide is simply like this. I'm going to return to the presentation to show you what we have. Just give me a second. Jennifer, can you now let me know if we have it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good. So we have it like this. So what we do is like this. Syntactic number 18, and the students basically use the app in order to identify, and they read on their own autonomously, and they identify what the challenge is there. Technology is growing actually, so we say that that is semantic number 1. Could you please check in the app if we have it? Semantic number 1 in terms of the challenge here is actually, okay? I'm not going to share a screen with the app because it takes time. And in academic paper, I'm going to write about immortality. Just give me a second. I'm going to semantic number 1 and pragmatic number 3. Just give me a second. So I'm going to return to this to share with you that we have the example there.
Larissa and Jennifer, unfortunately, you don't have more time, but if there is a final word you would like to share with the audience, that will be nice.
Okay,
I'm
actually,
really sorry, but time
yes,
flies.
Yes, we know, and technology doesn't help. The idea and basically the purpose here is to share with our colleagues what we have created at Universidad del Quindío. And for you to use the app, and finally, we want to know if the app is useful or not for you, for your students. Basically, that is what we want to know.
A big thank you so much for your attention today. And we actually hope that this application is useful for your teaching and learning processes. And of course, that it includes metacognition purely, and that we also hope that it helps you a lot with your writing, teaching writing, and learning writing processes. So thank you so much for your attendance today, and hope to see you next time.